So we're starting part 2 of the beach dig in the single hole where I've searched and checked out. There's a tremendous amount of iron buried here in this, where I formed out the square I checked out. I left the discrimination off and I read the meter on the detector to say there's a tremendous amount of iron still in this whole square. And I got a lot of good beeps in there also, so I got to dig some out, search for the good beeps. I pulled out this strange little piece of brass that was sitting right on top that wasn't here the other day. So it means the beach pulled out some, the tide pulled out some more beach and brought up another level. So I'm going to dig this out now, part 2, see if I can get some coins in there, some old stuff. Well, I'm back in the hole again, searching for that rust. And I tossed out a whole bunch of sand here I'm going to check out. There's a pinpointing the hole. Besides a lot of junky brass. I mean, I picked up 10-15 pieces of junk brass and lead. I finally pulled out something that had some shape to it. And it appears to be some kind of really old brass snap or fastener. Let's see if there's anything written on it when I get home. Right now, that's really the only cool thing I pulled out here so far. But there's got to be more in there. Pulled out another button. This is about 3 or 4. This one's just your standard flat button, but it's pretty cool that it still has the shank on the back. And these buttons are not new. It's late 1800s, maybe middle 1800s. I'm getting just a handful of stuff here and there. I've been digging a lot now, scattering stuff out. It's not easy to find, but this stuff is all still in this one hole. Flat button. Well, the pickings are slim. I'm getting about one decent target every 15 to 20 minutes. This one came out as a little bullet. It's all brass or copper, whatever they were made out of. You can see my hole is getting bigger, but there's still sections of rust, a lot of iron coming out of here. And for maybe every 15 pieces of iron, I do pull out another cool target. That's the first bullet that came out. It's all in the same hole. I'm going to get in a little closer so you can see that rust. All that rust on the side wall. That's where the iron's rusting up, but that's where the stuff kind of congregates and all the good targets sit in there with it. I'm almost down to the clean sand on the bottom, and it appears that it's all moving sideways. It's not going deeper. So I'm going to go a little sideways a little bit longer and then call it a day. And just as I pulled up that bullet, my next little freehand scoop is a little keyhole. That can't be new. That's an old keyhole with 2 little rivets on it to hold it in place. I'm not sure what it was a keyhole to, but it's awfully cool looking. Well, just when you're about ready to give up and head home, you start to feel like there's more trapped in there. Well, I hit on a bigger assortment of stuff in the last now half hour. I'm going to show you one of the lead balls I've got. I've got about 6 of these. And if you remember yesterday when I was in the hole, I found one of these brass clips. I'm not sure what they're to. That's the second one I found. And again, I've got about 6 or 8 of these lead balls. I've just gotten into some stuff in there now. You can see where the rust is. I'm going to have to stay and dig a little deeper because I'm getting a little more consistent on the targets. Well, I grabbed about another 10 to 15 pieces. A couple of them are interesting, but not enough to videotape. But I did pull, as junky as it is, a 3rd Indian out of this hole. It is an Indian head penny. It's very hard to see the date. It is wrecked. But there is an 18 right there. I can't make out the second 2 numbers. But that is a 3rd Indian head penny out of this ditch, along with all the other little artifacts I have not moved from this hole. I keep marking it for the next day so I can come back and check it out. Although I'm I'm running out of time now. I'm going to fill that up and I'm going to finish looking through these. Toss out piles of sand. Third Indian head penny out of that hole. No sooner did I pull that Indian head out, did I pull off this little tiny brass ring. Now it looks a lot more like a mechanical part than an actual jewelry ring, but sure gets the heart thumping. You know, it's just amazing. As much as you go through 100 dirty brass targets that are junk, just crushed pieces of brass, you come across one that says, oh, that looks kind of like a bird. Well, it's brass. It is a bird. It's a piece of jewelry. And there's a little clasp on there too to hang it from a chain. So it's a little brass bird charm. I would have thrown that away with all the other ones. You just got to look close. And every once in a while, there is certainly something cooler than a junky piece of brass. I'll clean it up when I get home. That is a brass charm. So once again, that little, that's a 30 by 15 foot hole is where I spent the last 3 hours digging up all those relics that I'm going to show a recap of on the next quick video. All in one hole. Here's a quick recap of what I got today on the second hunt. Quite a bit more than I did yesterday, but it's all from the same hole. We got 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12 lead balls. A whole bunch of pieces of lead, 2 flattened out ones. This looks like a bag seal. It's got either a U or a C on it. And it's got some kind of lettering. It's hard to tell what's on the back of it, but that was smushed down and imprinted. And we got a piece of sea pottery, piece of sea glass, a couple pieces of copper, and here's some broken up ammunition shells. That's all copper. There's what supposedly was a ring, but it looked more like just a washer. This is the second one of these little clips I got. A little wire piece. And I'm still not sure what these things are from, but I have found maybe about half a dozen of these in my time detecting. So I'm not really sure what it is, but it does go to something. And then the coolest finds are this little brass clip. It's like a garter clip maybe. We got a bullet, probably World War II. This is about the most beat up Indian head penny. It's even, that's not a purposeful hole. That was just kind of rotted through. But I was able to make out a 1 and 8 in the beginning, so it's 18, probably late 1800s. Awesome little keyhole. Brass. And here's another snap, and that is, I don't know if you can see it, that is a lion. You can see the tail up top. That's a lion on it. It's a snap. Brass. And here's a flat button with the shank still on it, just plain, no design. And the coolest find was the brass bird. Definitely there's a little clip there.